Good morning, my friends. Let's begin by breathing together. We've all been breathing all morning, but let's do it on purpose. So exhale first. Take a deep breath in. Let go. Another deep breath. And let go. Another deep breath in. And let go. So, good morning, beloved community. The theme for our month we're going to be exploring is Pieces into Peace. And the first thing I want to say about these themes that we use is that there's a team of ministers from around the organization that volunteer to come together each year, spend a few months together in visioning and meditation and doing a series of processes of listening and asking. And then together, these themes get created about a year in advance. And then as an organization, the magazine, Science of Mind magazine, and many of our centers all follow these same themes. What's fascinating to me is that these themes emerge sometimes a year in advance through this practice of listening and visioning. And I don't know if you've noticed, Jason and I have noticed, that oftentimes, whatever the theme is that we are claiming for the month, often really fits in alignment with what's happening in the world. Right? The first year we started doing this was 2020. And just about every week, the talk themes matched the headlines as 2020 unfolded. So I was just noticing that, last month was unstatus quo, all about breaking the old patterns, right? At the beginning of the month, some things shifted in our nation, in our politics. It was very much the unstatus quo, right, that opened and changed the story for many people. And now this month is Pieces into Peace. Looking at that fracture, looking at all those broken pieces, looking at all the division, all the separation, and maybe there's something starting to stir within us and around us that's calling all those pieces into peace. One piece, one greater wholeness. Well, just so you know, October is going to be Power to the People. So we're just going to follow this through. And then November's Abundance. And then December is going to be Sticking the Landing. So I think we've got a good trajectory in front of us if we're going to let the themes guide us. The thing I love about that is how much of this information that we use to guide us has come through these practices of group visioning and prayer, of a group of individuals coming together and sitting in stillness, asking these higher questions. What do we need to know? What do we want to become? What do we need to let go of? What's calling us forward? And then from that, writing down all the various things that come to us, and then discussing what stirs up in that, and then seeing what emerges and how on point that guidance is. So all these various individuals come together to bring their own piece of the puzzle. And when we do, we're able to see a bigger picture than any one of us could see on our own. And I think that in a big way, that's the purpose of cultivating conscious community, right? Of being in community with others who are continuously seeking to learn how to listen to that guidance, to learn how to become still enough to be in our practice of meditation, to be open to that higher wisdom self that's always seeking to communicate with us. But really, the higher order of truth is always going to come from the collective. There's a really fun experiment that's been done at a number of universities and things around the nation. Maybe you've heard of it, but it's, usually you have a group of people, and there will be like an ox at a fair or a bag of pennies or something, and everyone is invited to guess the weight of the ox, or how many pennies are in the jar. So this is a true phenomenon, y'all. If you do this experiment with a group of individuals, you take everyone's answers, add them all together, divide them by the number of people, you will always get the correct answer. Even if every single person was wrong. Even if every single person did not guess the correct weight or number of pennies, within the collective wisdom, the answer is there. Yeah, we should do this sometime just for fun. We'll do it on a Sunday. We'll have a bag of jelly beans or something in the lobby. We'll have you all guess. But to me, there's a deeper truth hidden there, right? It's that all of the pieces lead us to peace. That every one of us has a piece of the puzzle. And that even if we are like totally way off, when we come together with each other, when we bounce those ideas off of each other, when we ask those deeper questions, when we sit in resonance, that higher wisdom can emerge. Right? And there's something powerful about what happens when we bring our collective consciousness together. That's how society changes. That's how movements happen. Right? If you look at Lynn McTaggart's work and the attention experiment and the power of 8, she would bring groups of 8 people together and put someone in the middle and say, we're all just going to focus our energy and love on this person for 15 minutes. Starts documenting radical healings happening in people's bodies, illnesses dissipating. There's something that happens when we bring all of our pieces together, the more of us emerges. Right? And I think that what all of us are looking for, if we're here in this room, you're probably a spiritual seeker of some kind, you're probably looking for the more of you. I know I'm continuously looking for the more of me, the better version of myself, the truer version of myself, the greater, more integrous person who wants to be as me. And I'm sure we're all seeking that in some way. I imagine we all want that for our nation. We all want that for our world, the more of us to emerge. Right? But this thing about pieces into peace also brings me to this other thought, which is sometimes it's when things break, when things fall apart, when they seem the most shattered, that we actually become available to be put back together in a new way. Because oftentimes when things break, maybe it's because they weren't working anyways. And when things land, when they smash apart, when that relationship goes falling apart, when that diagnosis lands, when our nation has whatever incident it has, whatever war that's unfolding in the world, all of those broken pieces, all of those things that feel like they're shattering or falling apart are symptoms of something that hasn't been working all along. And when it finally doesn't work enough, it breaks. And then when it breaks, we get to look at all the individual pieces. Because when they were all one whole, sometimes it's hard to see the part that wasn't working. But when all those little broken pieces are spread out on the floor of our lives, we get to ask some deeper questions. It puts us in a place of openness that maybe we weren't in before. And so I continuously choose to look at the world as if what's happening in front of me, in our society, in the environment, in each one of our individual lives oftentimes, right? When it seems like things are breaking, it's because we've reached the breaking point. We've reached the point where what no longer serves us really no longer serves us, and we've gotten fed up enough to let it stop. And oftentimes it lands flat on the floor in front of us. But then there's an opportunity. Because as we regather all of those pieces, as we put ourselves back together, maybe we leave some of those pieces aside that didn't work. And we build something new. I know that in my own life, the most terrible, shattering, traumatic moments, the ones that broke me, are the ones that truly made me, that truly pushed me into my evolution, that caused me to become who I am. So what if that's true for all of us? What if that's true for the world? What if that's true for our society, that whatever it is that feels like it's breaking down is breaking open so that we can emerge and become something new? So what if each one of us looked at our own lives and started to realize that what if each one of us has a piece of the puzzle, a piece of the wholeness, a piece of the healing? Now, I said about the thing with the ox or the bag of pennies, even if everybody's wrong, the collective gets it right. There's a great piece of wisdom that I appreciate from Ken Wilber, who the integral theory is his body of work. And he says when he was developing integral theory, he was looking at a number of philosophies and teachers and ways of thinking and trying to synthesize them all, to bring them all together. And he said he had to operate on one principle. No human mind is capable of 100% error. Which means that even those people he thought were wrong contained some grain of truth, and that he had to be willing to look for it. Right? If that's true, I also like to then believe that the converse is true, that no human mind is capable of 100% accuracy. Which also means that if you think you're right, you probably have something to learn. Right? And so that means that I have a piece, you have a piece. There's things that I understand that you don't. There's things that you understand that I don't. And so when we come together in community and we share and we learn from each other and we grow together, we can start to reveal those pieces and maybe start to gain that higher perspective that's hidden in our collective wisdom. Right? That's my dream, my prayer for our nation of the United States right now. Is that we all could start to recognize that no one of us has all of the truth, and no one on the other side of whatever conversation is 100% wrong. Therefore, we need to have some conversations. We need to practice some deep listening. We might need to listen to something beyond our own thoughts and start listening to each other. Start listening to that greater wisdom that emerges when we actually slow down and listen. So take a deep breath. This idea of pieces into peace is really about bringing all of the pieces together, realizing that everyone gets a seat at the table. That if we ever want to build a world that works for everyone, build a nation that works for everyone, build a community, build a family that works for everyone, there has to be room for everyone. Which means that we have to then be willing to do the personal work, cultivating the peace within ourselves, so that we are not so moved by that which we don't agree with, that we maintain our center regardless of what comes our way. Because one of the things that I know is that if God, Spirit, the One, is all that there is, and all things are working towards the good, then everything that comes our way comes to us for us. That broken relationship, that diagnosis, that chaos in our world, whatever it is that you see, whatever it is that's hitting you personally right now, it's your invitation. And it might be your invitation to crack open, to put a few pieces down, to be open to the true peace that will fill that space if we're willing to let whatever it is go that we need to let go of. Can you hear that? All right, let's take another deep breath. Let's go within. So let's breathe. Again, exhaling first. And taking a deep breath in. And letting go. Listen to the room breathe as you breathe in again. And release. Feel the oneness. Listen to the one who is breathing all of us. Breathe in. Let go. So let us breathe continuously into this place of knowing that there is only one of us who is here. Here in this room, here in this nation, here in this community, here in this world, here in this universe, there is only one. It is the one life, the one power, the one presence, the infinite being. I call it God. But what I remember, what I recognize is that one is many. That one is breathing in, through, and as each and every one of us. That each one of us holds a piece of the great whole. That here we are in this experience of life, thinking that we are separate beings, thinking that we are separate from each other, thinking that we're separate from the earth, thinking that we're separate from God. And in truth, there is only one of us here. We are all part of one body. That is the body of the earth. That is the body of the universe. That is the body of the one. So let us remember that we are the activity of evolution. That we are the choosing place where the universe is choosing what is happening next. So let us lean into our collective wisdom. Let's lean into each other. Let's put down our assumptions and open to what happens when we are truly willing to listen. Remembering that that still small voice might be speaking in that one we disagree with. It might be whispering to us through our pain, through our confusion. That everything that is unfolding in and around us is happening for us. Everything is our invitation to the more of us, to our expansion, to our evolution. So let's open today to the more of us. Let's open to that higher wisdom. Let's be humble enough to set down our opinions and be open to the truth. For we are a united mind. These are our United States. This world is truly one. So let us remember our unity with all of life. Let us remember our connection that we live and breathe as one global human family. That everything that is unfolding on planet Earth is inviting us to heal, to open, to connect to that higher truth. And so it's from that place that I can then remind us to give thanks in all things, to celebrate all that comes our way, to realize that our prayers are being answered. We may not be getting the picture we had in our mind, but our prayers are being answered. We are being moved, lifted, evolved towards the more of us. So let's surrender to that infinite divine current that is moving all things. Let's stop pushing against it and let it carry us. So let's breathe in and let go. Breathing in and letting go. Let us remember the one who is breathing, and that one is breathing in everyone, in everything, in all circumstances, all the time. And so it is.